Hey, it's Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today for the Scrap Room to share with you this layout that I created using Shimelle's Field Trip collection. This is one of the 4 flavors of the month, and I struggled with this initially because it is the bits and pieces that Rochelle decided to choose are space themed, which is awesome if you have something space themed that you want to scrapbook, but I didn't. So I needed to find a way to go out of the box and make this collection work. So what I did was I printed a picture of the 4 of us, my family, and I found this saying after much searching on Pinterest and harassing the family over this, and it says, "You are stars in my galaxy." I think initially the quote was, "You are a star in my galaxy," and I changed it because it's about my family, and so I made this collection work for me. And so I took these multi-stripes and I put them next to the darker galaxy there in order to pop them on the white background. I could have used the whole page, but I decided that I didn't want to. Because it was very dark against the black and white photo, and so I wanted a little bit of the lightness of that white background there. I have this whole piece of paper of stars here, which really went with the stars theme in the "You Are Stars in My Galaxy," and I thought maybe that I would use it on the left and the right to border the galaxy there, but I decided that it was going to be better as a matte for my photo. And while doing that, I found these rockets as the selvage, and I decided they were a nice way to sort of sandwich that and really pop those stripes there. So I'm just going to matte the photo with a corner here, and those would be the stars representation in that saying. There are a couple of things that I'm going to end up doing off camera, which will discuss a little later in the video. I am one of these people who it's very hard for me when I'm filming to get a good sense of what it is that I'm doing. You have a sort of a micro picture of what it is, but I like to stand back and look at it. And often my stand back and look at it is when I've stopped filming and I forget to put the camera back on, which is when those things happen. I spend a lot of time arranging these letters, and the silly thing about that is that I don't actually have all of the words, and so you'll see towards the end that in many ways it ends up being wasted time, but it's okay. So I've decided that this is definitely the placement of where all of these things are going to go, and so I get out my very sophisticated ruler to line everything up. It's not so much that I wanted it for the distance as so much as that I wanted to make sure that I got this first strip down straight so that everything else went onto the page straight. Those of you who know me and follow my work know that I am not really all that particular about where things go. They just have to be generally straight. So there is where the photo is going to go, and I know that the title is going to be multi-fonted, and if you are looking to create those letters on your own, the fonts are ballerina script. That is the script, which is "You Are in My," and then stars. And what I thought was going to be galaxy ends up being Deming, D-E-M-I-N-G, capital E-P. They were free fonts. Most of the fonts I don't pay for fonts, so they probably came from my Creative something when they were free downloads. So with the Scrap Room kits, you know that you get an assortment of embellishments. Fortunately, most of the embellishments that I got were space themed, and if they weren't space themed, I somehow was able to incorporate them. Now, also know that with the embellishments, I also get the embellishment add-ons. I am also designing with the pattern paper add-ons as well. And so I am going to use this label that says "Hello, my name is," which really has nothing to do with anything, but it does give me a space to nestle the journaling. And then I've cut apart these two tags that came together, and again it just provides a little bit of white down the bottom there to break up the contrast between the darkness and the black and white photo up there. I am usually one who likes to do a trio of clusters, embellishment clusters, and you'll see that this layout really only has the two, and the reason for that being is because in many ways the title ends up being a third embellishment cluster. And it's just a really big title that moves your eye from the photo with the embellishment cluster to the left through the title down to the journaling on that right hand side there. So there's just that flow of movement, and that's why there doesn't really end up being a trio per se. I'm going to pop this rocket as well as the astronaut off the page. I just like a little bit of dimension, and when you have all the layers there, by being able to pop something off or have chipboard or enamel dots, I like the way that it gives texture to the page. So I'm just kind of playing with the alignment of all of those things here. This photo is taken of the four of us when we were at Notre Dame, and the journaling says, "Summers are when we get to reconnect and spend family time together. I love our nucleus of four. We complement each other so well." And so that speaks to the title of the layout as well. So again, just putting some foam on that astronaut there so that I can pop him up off in the corner. I did struggle with where he was going to go. I didn't really want him off on that left-hand side where he ends up being, because I felt like he just kind of got lost there. But because of the blue border around the astronaut, he was able to survive there. So I've gone to my silhouette and I've cut out stars and galaxy, and this is where you're going to see that the word stars is perfect. It fits perfectly, but galaxy ends up being too big, and no matter how I shifted things, I was not going to be able to make that work in an acceptable manner, and so I was going to have to go about finding an alternative solution to that. I have to apologize for this cold. I have been fighting this for probably about a month now, and just when you think you're on the down end of it, it comes back and haunts you. But things need to get done, so here I am doing this voiceover. So you can see I really liked the words overlapping the photo there, but no, it didn't work for me, so I'm going to have to find an alternative, because no matter what I did, galaxy was not going to fit with those particular letters. So I am going to shift everything back to where I originally had it, because that makes it centered through that space there, and then I'm going to have to find an alternative for galaxy. So here we are with the shuffle of the, normally it's a title shuffle, and this is a title shuffle, but that title shuffle resulted in a astronaut shuffle as well. So this is not part of the collection. I want you to know that. This is actually part of Shimelle's collection, but it does not come with the kit. I bought these separately. These are the thickers that go with the field trip collection. Again, they do not come with the kit. I happen to have them, and so I'm using them from my stash to fit Galaxy in there, and that works out perfectly, and I like the mix of colors as well. I do kind of like that astronaut there on that planet. It does sort of soften the roundness of that glaring planet there. However, I felt like there was too much then that was not around the photo, and there was nothing that drew your eye to the photo and created that movement down across the page, which is why I ended up leaving the astronaut on the photo there. So then with the label stickers that come with the add-ons, I'm going to layer up a few of them just to create a little bit more color off of that left-hand side there, so that you can see the delineation between the photo and that white border. I felt that was important, pardon me. And I am also off camera. I'm going to draw a fine black line all the way around and kind of frame that out. That just draws everything in together, so that you don't just sort of I call it fall off the page because there's no definition to the edge of the page. And I'm also going to use a few more of those phrase stickers, and you'll see that in the close-ups. I use big plans and far out, and the reason that I went with big plans, far out, and legendary is because of the reason that we were at Notre Dame, which I can't really talk much about now, but big things are happening in my son's world as far as swim recruiting is going. We have yet to see the end of the story there. That is all playing out, but needless to say, big things are happening in his world, and that's why I used those particular phrases there. So now I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive from ThermoWeb and adhere these. I love that this liquid adhesive dries clear. It does leave a little bit of a glisten to it, but that's okay. It doesn't bother me, and it works well with a little bit of shimmer, really subtle shimmer, in my page. So that, my friends, is really going to wrap up my layout for the scrap room this month. I hope you have enjoyed this process video. It is a great kit to subscribe to. You get 4 different flavors, and just like this particular collection, sometimes it forces you to move out of your box and your comfort zone and try something that you wouldn't normally do, because I don't know that I would have bought this collection knowing how spacey themed it was, and I certainly would not have created this layout, and I am very pleased with the way that it turned out. So thanks for stopping in today. There's going to be some close-ups to follow. Again, I apologize for the froggy voice and the sniffling. I'm doing the best that I can. I hope you all are doing well. Thanks for stopping in today. Come back again soon. Take care.